Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Donovan, and today we're going to take a look at a budget-friendly offering from Mobvoi. This is the TicWatch E2, and it's available right now on Amazon.com, also directly from Mobvoi for $159. So definitely a budget-friendly Wear OS device. And this one was launched at the exact same time as the TicWatch S2, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But one thing to mention here about the TicWatch E2 is that this is a follow-up to the TicWatch E, which was available last year for the same price, $159. However, that one's now available for $129, but links down in the description if you're interested in checking out any of these. So they did definitely add a number of features to the E2, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the other options that you have here. So this is the S2. Only difference between the E2 and the S2 is the specs are identical. The difference is the design. So the E2 has a more budget-friendly, cheaper plastic here, whereas the S2 is going to have a military-grade polycarbonate protecting the actual watch, so a little bit more rugged than what you're going to get with the E2. It's available for $179, so that's a major difference. If you come down here, it's also available in a couple different colors, so both black and white, and again, that one's $179. Here's the E2, and it's available in just black, and if I scroll down here, you can see there's also a C2. This one's definitely a more classic looking watch, so that one has a metal bezel. Obviously, you can see it's available in two different colors, a more, I guess, feminine color then, and then also the black version. This one also has a couple features you don't get with the E2 and the S2, but with the E2 and the S2 you have a few features that you don't get on the C2. One of those being these do not have Google Pay, so the E2 and the S2 do not have Google Pay or NFC, whereas on the C2 you do. And then also the TicWatch Pro, which I have right here. This one is, I guess, the more still, again, kind of more of a classic version, but this one also has that second screen, so when the screen goes off, it has a second LCD display lighting it up. So this one's regularly $249, but you can pretty typically find it for $199 on sale on Amazon. So links for all of those down in the description if you're interested in checking them out. So with that being said, let's talk about the E2 and some of the features that they added with the E2 versus the E1. So number one, this one is swim friendly. And that's because right over here, if I have it, there it is. This one has 5 atmospheres of water resistance, meaning you can go basically 84 feet underwater before you really have any issues here. So it's swim proof, and they actually have swimming detection in there, and so you can track your swimming, so you can track your laps, you can track your distance, things like that. So that's great. Up to 48 hours of battery life, so this has a larger battery than what you had on the original E. This one has a 415 milliamp hour battery, same as the S2. Let's see if there's anything else here worth mentioning. So we already talked about that. It has a very lightweight design, so just as a quick comparison, you can see obviously the TicWatch Pro has that stainless steel bezel here, stainless steel buttons, also the backing is all stainless steel. Pretty heavy. This one is not a watch you probably on a regular basis would want to wear while you're running, whereas definitely the E2 would be no problem. You could wear it while running, swimming, whatever you're doing. Really no issues there, because this one is 5 atmospheres water resistant, but it's also super, super light. So I went out for a run with it yesterday and hardly could even tell that it was on my wrist because it is so light. So that's awesome. Great for people that are looking for a running watch, running companion. So this has built-in GPS. Another thing worth mentioning here as far as the GPS goes, this one has very accurate GPS because it's using 4 different satellites for GPS. So this one has GPS, it also has Baidu, GLONASS, and Galileo, whereas the C2 is missing one of those. It only has 3 out of the 4. I'm not sure which one it's missing. I believe it's Galileo. And the TicWatch Pro actually only has GPS and something called AGPS, which is basically bouncing off of cell towers. So this one is not going to be as accurate as what you get over here on the E2 or the S2. So they both have that 4 satellite positioning system recognition. Then we also have a heart rate sensor. All of them have heart rate sensors. Now, on my initial run yesterday, The GPS was dead on. The heart rate sensor I found to be about 10 beats per minute faster than what I would expect. That was the very first run I took on the watch, so we'll have to kind of see if that changes, and I'll let you know. This does also have, of course, all-day heart rate detection. So as you can see, it kind of has my heart rate up there right now. And let's see, anything else worth mentioning here? So these are all the typical Wear OS options. We do have music streaming. One thing I do want to mention as far as music streaming though is this one does have a microphone. I should also mention all of them have removable bands, so that's good. But this one has a microphone, doesn't have a speaker. So you can see here on the TicWatch Pro we have a speaker and a microphone right over here. No speaker on this TicWatch E2, meaning you're going to have some Bluetooth headphones connected in order to listen to any music. So no music directly playing from the watch, which, I don't really ever have a reason to do that anyways, but it's not an option here on the E2. Alright, anything else worth mentioning here on the box? No. The other thing that I want to mention about both the E2 and the S2 is they both also feature TicMotion 1.0, and what that is, that's like automatic activity detection. So if you're going out for a walk, it will automatically detect that you're out on that walk, and it will start tracking it automatically. So I go over here, this is TicExercise, so this is an app that is specific to TicWatches, so any of those that we mentioned earlier. So you can see we have outdoor run, outdoor walk, indoor run, cycling, and freestyle, and then last but not least is the pool swim. So that's not going to be featured on any of the other watches except the S2, because the other ones are not 5 atmospheres of water resistance. Now, I noticed I pulled over from the right to get to that. If I hold down here, I can change that to Google Fit just by holding down there. So if you want to switch it up to Google Fit, you do have that option. If you want to change up the watch face, you can just hold right down here in the middle, and it should give me, if I hold it down long enough, I guess. See, it should give me the option to change the watch face, but apparently it's not going to do it right now. Let's see. There we go. Alright, so we have, of course, a number of watch faces available. It has plenty, but then, of course, you can go into the Play Store and get a ton of other watch faces. So I actually use an app called Watchmaker. So you can actually change your watch face with Watchmaker. Tons of watch faces available on that app as well. So some pretty cool customizable ones. But I'm going to go back to, whoops. Actually, let's just go ahead and stick with that one for now. This one does kind of slow it down a little bit. So this is running Snapdragon 2100 in terms of the processor, so a little bit older version. Obviously, we don't have the 3100 available here. Let me just go ahead and show you this real quick. So in terms of the quick settings, we'll notice that this one has Google Pay, and when I pull down over here, notice no Google Pay, and again, that's because there's no NFC on the E2. Alright, and if I pull over here from the right, we have our assistant. So of course I can hit that and ask Google whatever I want. And over here again we have just our exercise options, and then down here we have our notifications. So let's go into one of these. Like Easy Computer Solutions has started a live what am I talking about here? He's going live right now on YouTube, and down here I have some options. I can play it, so it's going to make it play on my phone. I can turn it off, or I can watch it later. So cool options there. And of course you can respond to messages, or like if you get Facebook Messenger, you can respond to messages that way as well. If I hit the button over here, I can go into all of my apps. The only thing worth mentioning here, a few apps that you have available on this watch that I don't necessarily see on other watches. The media controls, so that's going to allow you to control the media on your phone, not the media on the watch. So that's available. Of course, we can get Google Play Music to play music directly from the watch. You can download music directly to the watch. We have Google Fit. That's available on every Wear OS device. Quick shout out to Ghost Racer. So that's my favorite running app on any Wear OS device. And let's see here, got to get down here to, where's it at? TicExercise. So that is the exercise companion. That's the one that's going to go ahead and track using that TicMotion 1.0 whenever you start an activity, but don't necessarily go into TicExercise to start it. Just like you would get like on an Apple Watch, or I know some Samsung watches do that as well. Tick health is basically just going to show us our rings, our activity for the day so far. So that's going to pop up there. All right, and I can come down here and it'll go into more detailed information about my activity for the day. Tick Pulse, of course, is going to check your heart rate. And again, it does have all-day heart rate sensing available, so you can change that. Tick Ranking is basically just going to compare you with some other people that also have Tick watches in terms of steps for the day. And then let's see if there's anything else. So if you want to go on some hikes and download some maps prior to going on those hikes, View Ranger is a great app, but that's available on any Wear OS device. Let's go ahead and go into settings and see if there's anything here I need to mention. So we have our display. There is always on display, so you can change that down here. Of course, that's going to wear through your battery a little bit faster. And we have some gestures, so of course, like flip to wake it up, touch to wake, tilt to wake, some wrist gestures. So wrist gestures is just going to allow you to flip your wrist in order to scroll through some of your notifications. And that's about it. Connectivity, so that's where you're going to find your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, connectivity. Yeah, I think that's about it. That pretty much covers everything we need to go over here. So this is just a quick look at the TicWatch E2. A lot more coverage to come on this. I'm going to be comparing it up to some other watches. Also need to check out that Tic Motion, and I'm going to take it swimming in a future video to see how we do with some lap swimming. So definitely stay tuned if you're interested in the TicWatch E2 or the S2, because they're basically the same watch, just different design, slightly different design. But yeah, lots to look forward to here about the TicWatch E2. Stay tuned, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.